Belen.
Adrian watches the video sent by his girlfriend Belen, signaling the end of their relationship. Frustrated, he heads to a bar to drown his sorrows. The observant waitress, Fabiana, notices his despondency and alerts the bartender. The bartender, however, subscribes to the belief that crying men are typically at fault. At closing time, a drunken Adrian initiates a fistfight after colliding with someone, channeling his anger. The scuffle is halted by the other man's girlfriend, leaving a wounded Adrian on the floor as the couple departs. Unable to recall his own address, Fabiana offers to drive him to her house, where he spends the night on her couch. The next day, a bewildered Adrian wakes up in Fabiana's house. Despite her attempts to befriend him, he remains distant and insists on leaving without saying goodbye, leaving Fabiana disappointed. Later, Adrian, still in a sour mood, attends orchestra rehearsal where he serves as a conductor. That night, he returns to the same bar to apologize to Fabiana for his previous behavior. In an attempt to express gratitude, Adrian takes Fabiana to the theater the following day. As he passionately discusses the orchestra, a connection forms between them. Adrian leans in for a kiss, but Fabiana pauses to ask about his relationship status, expressing concern about potential entanglements. He reassures her of his single status, and the couple finally shares a kiss, spending the night together. The next morning, Fabiana gets up to brush her teeth, but pauses at an ominous sound from the pipes, dismissing it. While Adrian is still asleep, she explores his home and discovers sketches of shoe designs on a desk. Adrian wakes up, calling her and inviting her to breakfast without acknowledging the sketches she found. Over breakfast, Fabiana expresses admiration for the large house, and Adrian explains his preference for living away from the city for the tranquility. He offers to pick her up from the bar later, suggesting she stay the night again. As Fabiana gets ready for work, officers Butrago and Ramirez visit Adrian, informing him that they still have no leads on the whereabouts of Belen, his ex-girlfriend. Fabiana overhears the conversation and shares a look with Ramirez. Learning about Belen's reported disappearance, the detectives question Adrian, who reveals that he recently moved into the house with Belen. As the detectives search the premises, Fabiana seizes the opportunity to question Adrian, who reassures her that Belen is fine and left him for another man. That evening, as Fabiana spends another night in Adrian's house, she finds him playing the piano. Inviting him to bed, he stays for a while, allowing her to bathe first. However, while in the tub, she senses movement in the water without any apparent cause. Startled, she quickly sits up just as a lightning strike causes a power outage. Adrian finds her and reassures her that power outages are common during rain. However, the atmosphere is disrupted when Fabiana notices Adrian's dog, Hans, fixated on the closet mirror. Adrian shoos the dog away to restore the mood. On another night, Ramirez, who happens to be Fabiana's ex-boyfriend, visits her at the bar. Concerned about her involvement with Adrian, whose ex-girlfriend is missing, Ramirez warns her that Adrian is a suspect in Belen's disappearance. Fabiana dismisses this, believing Ramirez is merely jealous. Continuing her day alone in Adrian's home, Fabiana stumbles upon a key with a chain hidden in one of the vents in his bedroom. Intrigued, she takes the key and wears it around her neck. During a storm that causes another power outage, a shadow passes by her, prompting Fabiana to search the house, hoping it's her boyfriend returning from work. With no response to her calls, she grabs a fire poker for protection, only to be surprised when Hans barks at something. This startles her, causing her to trip and knock her head against Adrian's piano. Moments later, Adrian tends to her. Still gripped by fear, Fabiana confesses to Adrian that she believes there's a ghost in the house. Adrian chuckles at her concern and accompanies her to the bathroom sink, where she hears the strange noises. Adrian dismisses it as wind passing through the plumbing, playfully threatening the supposed ghost. The next morning, Adrian receives a call from the authorities informing him that they found a body believed to be Belen's. They ask him to identify the body, leading him to the morgue. The corpse is badly burned, making identification challenging. Despite a brief glance, Adrian insists that it's not Belen. Returning home, he overhears Fabiana apologizing but finds her alone in the bathroom. When he inquires about whom she was talking to, she denies talking to anyone and shifts the conversation to the morgue incident. Adrian asserts that the body wasn't Belen, emphasizing that his ex-girlfriend is no longer part of his life and Fabiana is what matters to him now. She embraces him while staring at the mirror with a frown. In a flashback, months before these events, Adrian excitedly shared with Belen that he got a job at the orchestra, which would require him to be away for a year starting in 15 days. Surprisingly, he invited her to join him on this journey. After careful consideration, Belen agreed to join Adrian on his year-long orchestral journey as long as he promised to take care of her. The couple moved and Adrian conducted his first orchestra with Belen watching in excitement. Post-performance, Belen caught Adrian talking to the violinist Veronica, and they exchanged almost farewell-like words before he went home with her. Belen then visited the house they planned on renting, meeting the owner, Emma, who introduced her to the dog Hans. Emma, about to move to Berlin, insisted that whoever bought the house must also care for Hans. Belen, being a dog lover, accepted the condition, earning Emma's trust. They happily lived in the house for a while. However, one day Belen visited Adrian at his office and found him having drinks alone with Veronica. Veronica's guilty expression heightened Belen's suspicions. The next morning, she checked his phone while he was in the shower and discovered something that left her in tears. Confronting him about his calls and messages with Veronica, Adrian admitted to flirting but insisted that nothing happened. When asked why he flirted, he argued that it was normal. Belen disagreed, asserting that it wasn't normal behavior. Adrian, in defense, claimed he loved her and no one else. Seeing Belen's lack of conviction, Adrian offered to fire Veronica to reassure her, but Belen took him up on the offer. Frustrated, Belen asked him to leave, needing some time alone. That afternoon, Emma visited the house, providing Belen with an opportunity to share her frustrations about leaving her life in Spain to support Adrian, only for him to seek attention from other women. Filled with regret, Belen contemplated how Adrian would react if she were to suddenly disappear or die. To her surprise, Emma disclosed a secret bunker behind the bedroom's closet, built years ago in fear of war. The bunker was equipped with necessities, one-way mirrors, and a speaker allowing the tenant to hear what happened around the house. It was soundproof and hermetically sealed. Intrigued, Belen considered the possibilities for the room after Emma left. Eventually, she made a decision and recorded a breakup video for Adrian that afternoon. As she hurriedly packed her belongings into the bunker, Adrian unexpectedly arrived earlier than Belen had anticipated. She grabbed the key to the bunker, placing it on her bag as she quickly wrote a note for him. Rushing to the bunker, she watched from the one-way mirror as Adrian discovered the camera and viewed her breakup video. Confused by her message, he called her phone, leaving a voicemail pleading for her to contact him. Sitting on the bed, Belen was momentarily relieved to see tears in his eyes, but her relief turned to worry as he angrily threw the bouquet he had bought her against the mirror. Concerned for Adrian, Belen searched her bag for the key and realized she had dropped it earlier. Trapped in the sealed bunker, she slammed on the mirror, screaming for her boyfriend. Attempts to call him proved futile, as the soundproof room prevented any sound or signal from escaping. Desperate to free herself, Belen searched for anything to help but found no solution. Days later, driven by worry, Adrian filed a missing persons report for Belen. In the bunker, frustrated and angered, Belen, while Adrian was washing up in the bathroom, kicked the pipe below her, creating ripples in the sink on Adrian's side. This sparked an idea for communication, but Adrian didn't notice the waves and left for the bar. The following night, Belen, trapped in the bunker, watched helplessly as Adrian spent time with Fabiana, the sound of their evening echoing through the speakers in the sealed room, breaking her heart. The next day, as Fabiana was about to brush her teeth, Belen yelled at her over the sink on her side. Surprisingly, Fabiana leaned forward as if hearing something. Encouraged, Belen started screaming for help over the sink, hoping Fabiana would understand. Unfortunately, Fabiana dismissed the sound, oblivious to Belen's desperate cries for assistance. Later, Belen witnessed Fabiana finding the key inside the vent again, desperately calling out to her. Unaware of its purpose, Fabiana wore the key around her neck. Overhearing Adrian being called to identify a body, Belen saw Fabiana smile at her reflection, assuming the woman was pleased with the notion of her being dead. With Hans barking at the closet mirror, Fabiana deduced the presence of a door behind it. Investigating the closet, she discovered the keyhole and realized that the key she found would unlock the door, potentially leading to Belen's rescue. After much contemplation, Fabiana decided not to free Belen, choosing to prioritize the life she enjoyed with Adrian. When Adrian returned and overheard Fabiana apologizing, Belen could only scream in despair as she realized she had been abandoned. The next day, Fabiana moved their belongings out of the master bedroom, glancing at the closet mirror where Belen remained trapped before leaving. Meanwhile, Ramirez informed Adrian that he was now handling Belen's case and warned him against harming Fabiana, revealing his suspicion of the conductor. That evening, Fabiana worked at the bar when the bartender inquired about her relationship. Adrian's time in the orchestra was coming to an end, and he would be moving back to Spain. Fabiana was uncertain about joining him, but when her friend raised the possibility of Belen resurfacing, guilt overcame her. Consequently, she checked on Belen upon arriving home, only to receive no response, leaving her worried. Confused by the sudden move to the guest room, Adrian questioned Fabiana upon his return. She lied, claiming it was because the bathroom there worked better. The following day, while Adrian was away, Ramirez visited the house and gave Belen an envelope containing photos of Adrian with Veronica, breaking Fabiana's heart. Unaware that Adrian had just broken up with Veronica due to guilt and doubts, Fabiana decided to open the door and finally check on Belen. Discovering Belen unconscious in the bunker, horrifies Fabiana. Belen, however, suddenly strikes her with a bottle, rendering her unconscious. Belen seizes the opportunity to retrieve the key and escapes the bunker, leaving Fabiana trapped inside. After days without sunlight, Belen revels in her newfound freedom, gazing out the window. Hours later, Adrian returns home to find the place empty, except for the bunker's key on his bed and a photo of him and Belen attached to the closet mirror. Meanwhile, Belen enjoys the beach sunset, while Fabiana remains trapped in the bunker with little hope of rescue. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.